Hi, welcome to Ear for Fear. I'm Rick, and this is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. Today, we're going to be talking about 2019's Yummy. This is a Belgian zombie movie, joined by one of the creeps, Morris Hoyleman, Monster Movie Man 13. Make sure you go follow him if you haven't followed him.
Yeah.
You should already be following us.
Yep.
We're Ear for Fear podcast. I think we're out there. I don't know. You can find us.
Yep. On all major platforms.
Yeah. So anyways, before we jump into this, let's do a quick synopsis. A young couple traveled to a shabby Eastern European hospital for plastic surgery. Once there, things start to unravel as a virus outbreak turns everyone into bloodthirsty zombies. All right, man. So 2019's Yummy. You recommended this one, right?
Yeah, I was hearing some good stuff on some of my YouTube people that I listen to, and they were saying this movie was a ZomCom.
Okay.
From the Netherlands, and I wanted to watch it. I saw it was on Shudder, and I waited to watch it first time with you for the podcast.
Yeah, and I think I had caught a trailer for this before you recommended it. I just forgot it was called Yummy.
Yeah.
About I want to say sometime last year, Donna and I were going through and just finding zombie movies from other countries that we could maybe, I don't know, sit down and talk about, because here I kind of got it to a point where I was tired of doing American zombie movie, they all seem to kind of run into each other, right? They're all kind of the same. Like,
they are, yeah.
I don't find anything new and exciting. And so it's like, let me try other country zombie movies.
Yeah.
Like I know we did One Cut of the Dead was cool. There's a few of them out there. I think there's one called Little Monsters I want to check. Is it Little Monsters? Yeah.
Little Monsters.
I want to check that one out. There's some other ones too that I want to check out. But yeah, this one, so it's from the Netherlands. I guess it's at first I thought it was going to be straight like subtitles.
Yeah.
But, dude, there was barely any subtitles.
Well, the funny thing is it started off that way.
Yeah. Like in Dutch or something.
And then they kept jumping back and forth. It seemed like they were doing it in Dutch and Belgian, which,
is that?
Yeah. And then there's some other mixture. It almost seemed like one character was German too.
Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah,
and I don't know what country they were in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm thinking somewhere up in the Netherlands. So
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, but most of it seemed English to me. Like, occasionally it would be like subtitle, but mostly English.
And then sometimes they would talk in their language.
Yes.
Like between the two main characters would talk back and forth in their language. And then they start speaking English again.
Yeah.
It was weird.
It was a little off for me. Like, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm cool. Like, I'm not a fan of subtitles. I mean, I understand if we're going to watch a movie in another country, more than likely we're going to get subtitles. But if I have my preference, I would not do subtitles because my eyes are terrible and I don't like reading that shit. You know? But this one was man, this was kind of like a dud for me. Like, I didn't hate it. But
I didn't, and
I wanted to really like this. Like, it started out kind of cool. I'm like, okay, I think this is going to be good. And I would say about 20 minutes in, it was all right. And then it just kind of went off the rails for me. Like it didn't like pick your lane and go down it. Like if you want to be a serious zombie movie, okay, I'm good. If you want to be like a kind of a funny and a zombie movie, I'm good with that too. Just don't try to do both.
Yeah.
And this one was like, at times it was like so like not funny and it just seemed like so kind of dark at times. And then other times was like, okay, the dude's part of his penis just came off. And, and it was like, okay. And I can be down for funny shit like that.
Right.
It's like Dead Alive. Okay. So Peter Jackson said, look, I'm going to do this over the top fucking zombie movie and all this shit's going to be crazy. But he stuck to it through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
This seemed like it wanted to emulate Dead Alive in some parts, did it not?
It did. It felt a little Dead Alive to me, and that's why I bring up the reference.
Right. And then it went all very, very serious. But then some of the characters were almost cartoonish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was. Oh, and by the way, spoilers.
Full spoilers.
Full spoilers. And again, Morris is still dealing with some asthma issues, so we apologize in advance.
I might cough.
Yeah, he might cough a little bit. I keep telling him to go to the goddamn doctor, but he's not listening to me.
I'll definitely go next week.
You better.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, this wasn't like I don't even know, man. It was like I wanted to like it. There was some stuff that was fun, and was cool, like and different because we've seen a million zombie movies. But then other stuff like, oh my god, that little stupid creature worm thing that came out of the jar, dude, that was just dumb for me.
And that was a diversion. Because I think they wanted to make you think, okay, well, he got full spoilers again. He got bit, and then they kept showing it. They kept showing it. They kept showing it, and then he gets bit, and then you're thinking, oh, he got bit. He's probably going to turn into a zombie, and then it's like, no, he. It's not going to happen.
To me, it just didn't have a place. Like you could have done all this stuff without this stupid little. CGI. I don't even know what this thing was.
No, it was practical,
but it just didn't fit at all. It just didn't. There was no point in having it. They had it just to have it. Maybe they're like, hey, we can do this really cool practical effect and let's do this. But this little weird creature crawly thing, it just doesn't belong in this movie.
So what it reminded me of, and I have no idea who the filmmakers are in this. I couldn't even tell you the director's name of this.
I wrote the director down. It was Lars something another, and I couldn't pronounce the last name, so I don't think I wrote it all down. But it was Lars something.
Okay, it seemed like maybe he was a fan of some of the zombie movies of, or at least the Lamberto Bava demon movies.
Oh, okay.
And there was a similar creature in Demons 2.
There was? Oh, fuck, dude. I don't remember that.
Yeah. So Demons 2 had a similar little creature. It almost looked like a Muppet. And it almost seemed like maybe he was influenced by that and wanted to pay an homage to that. And did his own little thing.
You could be right. You know what it reminded me of? Just a better version of it was, remember in House 2?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that little green creature, fucking wormy thingy? It reminded me of that.
And they could be fans of House. So, know, it's like...
What's funny is like people never seem to talk about House 2. It was whatever. It was okay. House 1 is still my favorite.
I think House 2 is more kid friendly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
definitely. Like I wouldn't even say PG-13 is more like PG or something.
More PG.
That's what it reminded me of. Just a better version of it.
Yeah.
Again, I know we're focusing on it just didn't belong, and I think that's the problem with this movie. There was stuff,
there was other stuff that I had problems with.
Yeah,
characters and character motivations, and it just was not consistent.
It wasn't. And again, if you stay consistent, I'm all on board, man. Just again, pick your lane, stay in your lane, and let's do it. And I respect that. Yeah. I respect that. And
the only thing I can think of is what they were trying to accomplish was just messing up expectations. And they're like, you know what? We're going to make a balls to the wall zombie movie and all bets are off. And maybe that's what they tried to accomplish, but I didn't have the kind of fun I thought that I'd wanted from this.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Because I wanted to care about the characters. You don't want to watch a movie for 90 plus minutes and not care about your characters. You want to have some care for them.
Yeah. And now, did you feel, I mean, I think this was a good hour and a half, right? Mm-hmm. It felt like 2+ hours to me. And that's a bad sign.
Felt a little bit longer.
Right.
Felt at least a half hour longer.
Yeah, it did. It felt like a 2-hour movie and it was like an hour and a half. I'm like, that's just not good.
No.
So main characters, Allison and Michael, they're a couple. She definitely seems a little above his, like he seems kind of like a dork and
she's out of his league.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and Sylvia's the mom. She's going with him because she's having surgery as well, and looks like she's had plenty of it.
Yeah.
Dr. K is kind of like this. I don't know what you call him. I mean, he's just, I'm not going to say a mad scientist or something. He's just some kind of, he does experimental stuff. Yona, I think it's, and I'm probably pronouncing that way wrong, but he's like that surgeon.
Yeah.
And then William, I think, is the celebrity that is there. He's getting his penis enlarged, but no one's supposed to know that he's there. Daniel is, I think, the blonde guy.
The blonde guy that pissed us off.
I don't understand his relevance. It doesn't feel like he works there, but he has access to drugs, and he seems to bang chicks that have plastic surgery done because they, I don't know. It was that was weird to me.
Yeah,
I didn't understand that.
He was an orderly, but he
is that what he was?
Yeah.
He was an orderly. Okay.
Orderly, but he knew everything about that hospital.
Okay. So that's what, and then I don't know if it's Janja. I don't know. I'm probably,
was she the doctor's assistant?
She might have been. No, I don't know if she was. I think she might have been the one that really was responsible for all this experimentation.
Oh, that's the one I was saying.
Yeah. Okay. That's her. Okay. And then Oksana, I want to say maybe that's the girl that got
tattoo removal.
Maybe that's what it was. Oh, that's right. She had the tramp stamp.
Yeah.
And she got stuck. She got stuck with the celebrity guy.
Yeah.
I think those are basically the main characters.
Yeah. Full spoilers. So we have Allison that wants, she's naturally endowed. She has like F-size breasts.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know they're F-size because I looked it up. And she is very insecure about them because she can't, they hurt her back, and she mentioned that when she runs, they're just uncomfortable.
And then everyone stares at her.
And guys oogle her, and she just wants it to stop.
Yeah, so she's going there to get a breast reduction.
Yeah,
mom again tags along because she wants another, who knows, tummy tuck or whatever.
I think she's doing a tummy tuck and a facelift.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Michael's the boyfriend, and again, he seems like he kind of, I don't know how he pulled this one off, but he just, I don't know.
And he went to medical school for a year, but he knows a lot about, he knows far beyond some of these other people that are at this hospital.
Correct. And he dropped out because he has a phobia of blood. He sees it in hemophobia.
Yeah. So the fear of the sight of blood. So
when
he passes out.
When you're a doctor, that's no bueno, right?
Yeah.
So they get to this place. I mean, it looks a little run
sketch,
right, in a horrible neighborhood. There's like graffiti everywhere.
It's the epitome of you see these horror movies. It's something that if they weren't Europeans, and let's say if they were Americans, that it would be like Hostel.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how I felt about it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Michael right off the bat just doesn't get a good feeling of this place, right? No. He just doesn't, and
he's like, they're not following procedures.
Yeah, they're not sterile, any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, Allison's a little kind of pissed off at him. It's like, look, just let me get this thing done. And, he keeps kind of throwing a wrench into things. Him and I guess it's Daniel decides to take him for a tour of the hospital, really just to get him, Michael out of the hair of the doctors and surgeons and stuff.
Yeah.
And while Daniel is raiding some drugs in one of the
and this is like in the basement area where they don't use of the hospital.
Yeah. And then he's getting some sort of drugs, and I think Michael hears some groaning, goes into a room and sees a woman there, and she's naked but has like something over her face.
And then she's also strapped down to this gurney, and she looks like she's being tortured.
Sort of, like if you wouldn't know any better, it's kind of odd. It's
almost looks like a hostile, death trap.
Yeah. And so he goes to remove this face mask thingy, and of course, her whole she's all funky, man.
Zombied up.
All zombied up. It looks like part of the let's say her lips and stuff is all ripped out and stuff. So I mean, you could tell that something's going on here.
Yeah.
And they bail. But what the problem is, they have now taken this thing off her mouth, and she can now chew through the straps. Once she did, all hell broke loose.
Oh yeah, she chewed through the straps of of her restraints, and it got off the gurney. And then she, any person that she came in contact with,
She was munching on them,
and they were becoming zombies pretty quick too.
Pretty quick. Well, that's the funny with movies. It's like when it's not a main character.
Yeah, it's quick.
It's quick. When it is a main character, it's drags. Yeah, and it's like it's funny how that is. But
yeah, it's like, when's this bomb gonna go off?
Yeah. But no, dude, all hell breaks loose. Like literally, everyone is
pretty quick too.
Pretty quick. Because, I mean, Michael comes in to, of course, stop the surgery again. Yeah. After, I think this is the second or third time he stopped it. And then everyone is basically kind of bolting for like the stairs and for the exits to get out of here. Yeah. But they can't get out.
And it sounds like the entire hospital is trying to corral everybody up to one area. So everybody's together.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they try to go down the stairs, right? By this time, there's zombies everywhere.
Yeah, in the stairway.
And they're basically eating other people and stuff. And so you can't really go down there. So It's like, okay, where do we go? And yeah, dude, this thing gets out of hand very quickly. And other than the main characters, everyone else seems to get it. Yeah. I will say this. Some of the music was pretty cool. They kicked in with some kind of, I don't know what kind of music you would call this, but it was different variations of stuff, and it seemed fitting for what we were seeing. Like at first, this felt very kind of, I'm not gonna say cheesy, but kind of a campy, like zombie movie, and I was on board for that if that's what we were getting. Right. I'm cool with that. But then it just kept jumping back and forth. Yeah, it just wouldn't make up its mind what it wanted to do.
Right. And then so the girl that's getting the tattoo removal, she's a big fan of the celebrity guy.
Yeah, what's his name? William.
Yeah, and she
and this is Oksana, and she's very, very pretty.
She is. And then they're together in the kitchen area, it seems like, and they're isolated together because they're outside the doors. There's tons of zombies. Yeah. Yeah. And they're sitting there. And then I think she mentions that she's a virgin and she doesn't want to die a virgin.
Yes. Yes. Cause he supposedly saved her, which he really didn't at all, but she thought he did. Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, my knight in shining armor and I'm a virgin. And hey, we may not survive this. So hey, let's just have some sex. And honestly, he's like some kind of fat, looks like probably a fat washed up celebrity.
He does. He looks that way. And then he has his prosthetics wiener with he had like, cheese gauze all over it.
Yeah. He literally just had this done and he's healing.
Yeah. And it's like, you could tell it's stitched and stuff together. And then he has this gauze all over it. And he goes, well, I should be very careful with this, but if we're careful and I'll do it for you, which doesn't make sense. Cause what man would do that in that state?
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't. If you have like fresh stitches on there.
Oh, hell no, dude.
Yeah. It wouldn't be happening.
To me, it seems, I mean, I guess it still works, but it's like, dude, you're taking too much risk here, man.
And this is where the movie tries to become a comedy. It's like, oh, let's poke fun at this, Yes. And then it's not really funny.
It wasn't funny. It made me uncomfortable. Just kind of like, cause I mean, he goes to wash his.
Well, we have they come back to them after we go back to, because we're hitting all these different storylines.
Yes.
We get back to them.
All these different characters. Yes.
So we assume that they had sex.
Yes. And then he goes to wash it off and of course the water's
hot,
scorching hot.
But who would not test the water with their finger before you? He's like an idiot. I did again, character motivations that make no sense.
Yes. Yes.
So this is one.
And then she puts then she gives him some sort of ointment, but he doesn't look at the ointment to see what it is. And then
she's rubbing it all over him.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, let me read what the ointment is. And then she's down by his wiener and then she lights a match
and it catches on fire.
So his junk's all on fire.
And then she takes the fire extinguisher
and then she
hits him. And then it essentially,
which is hilarious because I don't know about European fire extinguishers, but fire extinguishers here don't have liquid nitrogen in them.
No.
Yeah, it's not going to freeze you too.
Because that's essentially what it did. It froze his penis.
Like he was the T1000.
Yeah. And then the tip falls off. This was funny to me. I actually was rolling. He just grabs it off the ground, throws it in his pocket, and I fucking was dying.
And then he's like, I'm done with this.
I'm done with this shit.
And then he runs out to
like
where the zombies are.
Dude. Like, and he grabs a knife. Like the knife is gonna help you with like 20 fucking zombies right outside the door, and he doesn't last long.
No,
man.
He's done.
I don't know. It's funny. Like I'm down for that. If that's the route you're going with this, hey, your frozen penis, it falls off. I throw it in my pocket. Okay, I can. Not that I love it, but I can be down with it if that's the avenue you go down. But then it's just like other shit was just so fucking serious at times, man. And I'm like, I felt bored. I felt bored. It doesn't mean that there wasn't some cool parts in the movie. Yeah. There was some cool kills. I thought some of the special effects were cool.
Right.
And some of the acting was decent. I felt for Allison and Michael. Like he seemed like he kept fucking up. And the more he fucked up, like the further away he was pushing Allison. Right. Because this whole time his idea, which I just thought was dumb, but he's going to propose to her on this trip. This is odd to me. And so you keep seeing him pulling it out of his pocket.
His ring.
And it's like, dude, really? She's getting a boob reduction?
Yeah.
And you felt that was the time to propose?
Right.
And so it was, but he kept fucking up, dude. Like he would, like the time where he hits his head on something and you think he's dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the point I was going to go to next was, we think that one of our main characters is dead right away. And I thought that's the route they were going. But there was an element of me that, like, okay, well, I mean, even though his eyes were open and there was a lot of blood.
Yeah, I thought it was, well, first of all, I didn't think it was his blood. I thought somehow maybe blood from somebody in that room slid underneath him and it just looked like it was his blood and he just got a concussion.
But it was pulling up behind his head.
True. But then, dude, he looked like he was a goner.
Yeah. And then he wasn't, And then the motivations of our orderly, what's his name?
Daniel.
He went back and forth from being like a douchebag to being, okay, well, this guy's sort of nice and trying to help them. But then his motivations were like, okay, he wants to get with Allison. He
literally, I think as this played out, his motivation was getting laid and getting high.
Yeah.
That's really what it boiled down to, right? Because I think we see him shoot up in one scene.
Yeah, in one scene he shot up and it's like, who would do that in the middle of a zombie apocalypse?
I don't know.
It's like, I want to be high off my ass.
And
then have people munch me while I'm like, don't know what's going on.
Right. I don't know, man. Like I said, I just didn't. First of all, I didn't know he was a friggin' orderly. I didn't catch that. I knew he worked there, but in what capacity? It just seemed strange to me. But yeah, I mean, and then, as this plays out, again, the main characters we named really are the only survivors, right? And they're trying to figure out a plan. This cracked me up. When the mother got bit, so Allison finally finds her mom, and she was basically like passed out on a gurney because I think she was on some. She was getting ready to have her surgery.
No, I think she was. Was she done with her surgery? And she was resting.
Was she done?
Yeah,
I didn't think they got to the surgery because everything happened so fast.
Okay, you might be right.
Yeah,
then.
and so when she gets bit. I don't figure out that she got, where did she get bit on the leg? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She got bit on the leg or something. And, they wanted to kill her, but of course, Allison was against it. This is my mom, and they were quick to like, well, let's come up with a vaccine.
Oh, let's come up with a cure.
But I think they said vaccine, which didn't make sense to me, but let's come up. So everyone's now zombies, and you think within 5 minutes you're going to create a concoction and inject them and everything's going to be okay. I thought that was just dumb.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't make sense for me at all.
And the main doctor that was going to do that.
This Dr. K, is that the kind of, the bald guy?
Yeah. He was, I don't know. And then of course, he got blood in his mouth or something.
Yeah. Something. I forget what happened. Maybe someone got stabbed or shot or something. And he got the blood in his eyes and his mouth.
And then they ended up, what did they do? They axed him in the head or something.
Well, you know what I felt that was for? Yeah. Look, I think he was eventually going to turn. I think, what's her name? I don't know. Janja? I don't know. I'm probably butchering that name. She did that while he was talking about what was going on. She did it to kill him before he spilled the beans that it was her this was her idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I think she did it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause she could justify killing him because everyone thought he was going to turn because of the blood in his mouth or his eyes. But no, he was spilling the beans, dude. He was getting ready to give her up.
Yeah.
Because eventually Daniel would find out that it was her.
Right.
And so that's why I think she did it.
That's why Daniel was trying to blackmail her later.
Yeah. Yes. But then the one doctor, I think he's a surgeon, the Yona.
Oh, the no arm guy.
The kind of dude, that was fucked up, man.
Yeah, it was.
It's like what lengths do you get bit by a zombie and you don't want to turn, but what lengths do you go through to stop the infection? Yeah. And it's like literally they had an axe. I think he told Michael to cut it off, but then the blade flies off. And so he quickly goes to like a shredder, like a paper shredder,
and throws his arm in. Which again,
how would your arm fit in the shredder? It wouldn't. But he throws his arm in there and literally shreds his arm. That was gnarly.
Yeah, it was.
Doesn't mean I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of cool.
Right.
But damn, that was gnarly, dude. For not though, because later on he just ends up fucking falling and
then turning into a tomato.
Dude, yeah. So I'm trying to think, man. It just was. I don't know, man. It just there were so many things happening and none that I really kind of cared about. Again, it doesn't mean that it didn't have some cool stuff because it did. It has some. It has some like some good deaths and it had. Some of the effects were cool.
I think it was trying to be a fast pace,
It's funny that you say that though, because it drug.
Yeah.
Like it was supposed to be fast paced, but it just felt like it was so long.
Yeah.
Like it didn't get to where it wanted to go quick enough.
That's true.
And so it's like, I don't know, man. It just, I don't know. To me, it was just, I don't know. It just fell flat for me, man. That's
how I was feeling for me too.
Yeah, I think you and I are kind of on the same page for it.
Because I wanted to like it a lot more, and then we get to our ending where it's almost like a wreck, where the military.
So remember when they're okay, yeah. So what I liked, okay, so this I thought was funny because again, Michael seems to throughout this whole movie kind of fuck up, right?
Right,
like. He almost confirms he's not worth, like Allison and him should be together and he's not worth having Allison.
Well, you think about it, he's the reason why the zombie outbreak happened.
Because he let the one girl go.
Yeah.
Well, of course, he didn't say anything.
He took the
the muzzle thing.
The muzzle off of her. So that's the thing that.
But like so the military is basically surrounded this building.
Right.
They're not letting anyone out. So they find a way down. Is it the sewer?
It is the sewer.
In sewer. Okay, so they find their way down in the sewer. In this point, really almost everyone is dead. We don't want to pass this, I guess, this part up. So
it's Michael, Daniel, and Allison, right?
It was Michael, Daniel, Allison, and again, I don't know her name, Janja. She sets it up where she tells Daniel to come into this room. He comes in to flip on the light and gets bit.
Yeah, she
set it up.
Yeah, she set it up to where this zombie that was on a gurney would bite him.
So then he fucking flips out and kills her and blames it on the zombie.
Right.
But he's bit and he's hiding this from Allison and Michael. They make their way into the sewer and they're trying to find a way
to get
out. But the problem is the military is surround this whole area.
Not to mention they have zombies in the sewers following them.
Yeah. So they're trying to get away. Yeah. And they're trying to get away from the zombies. And then they find this, this manhole cover And Allison, goes to lift it.
Yeah, she's pulling her fingers across to open up the manhole, and then the guy, one of the military guys,
basically slams the cover back on her fingers, which traps her fingers. Then they back up the truck, which reminded me of that remake of the Blob. Yeah. And then her hands basically trapped. And so
you would almost think that her fingers would come off there.
See, that's what I thought too. And Daniel bells. And so, Michael learned something in medical school to basically saw her friggin' finger. That was nasty
with
too.
his lens on his glasses.
That was kind of cool though.
Which, I mean, are your lenses are they that sharp?
I don't think they are.
No.
I mean, but see, if you think about it, I mean, how not only would you have to get through the skin, but the bone as well.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Man.
That's going to be really hard.
Again, it's a movie. We have to just kind of let it go.
Suspend belief.
But yeah, her basically, dude, her whole fucking almost hand gets sawed off.
Yeah, she's missing 4 fingers now.
And so, they make a run for it. But at what point he's in this sewer being chased by zombies, he actually takes the ring out and proposes to her.
Yeah, and then she's like,
dude, are you serious
in the sewer?
What a moron, dude. But I think they find so they get to this area. There's a manhole cover. And so Allison goes up.
It's behind all the action.
Conveniently, yeah. And so she gets up there, and then basically Daniel, who's just look, the guy's a prick.
Oh, it's either Daniel or
Michael
to get out, because I think one has to prop the other one up.
Correct. And yeah, there's no way of getting the other person up to the ladder. And so Daniel somehow convinces Michael it's best that I go.
Yeah.
And I'll take care of her. The whole time he wants to bang Allison.
Yeah.
So that's all this boils down to. And then he tries to tell Michael, well, dude, you got bit by this little wormy friggin' creature thing. So more than likely you're going to turn. So let one of us go and take care of Allison and make sure she's okay. And then, he gets up there, and of course, Michael notices that Daniel has been bit in the stomach.
Yeah, he's been concealing the bite and sees it, and then Daniel moves the
cover,
the manhole cover.
He's trying to scream up to Allison, but of course, Allison can't hear him. And so Michael's basically trapped down there, right, with all of these zombies. He's got to make a run for it through the sewer.
Yeah.
And
so he's still running.
Yeah. And then somehow Allison and Daniel end up getting away in the car. They get outside. I don't know. No one seems to chase them.
No.
And they get outside a kind of town to this kind of almost looks like a little dump area or something,
Yeah.
And then Daniel doesn't take long to basically
try to rape her.
And I forget what he said. Oh my God, I think this was so cheesy. It was like, oh God, I can't wait to get my hands on those knockers or something. Yeah. I'm like, really? This is the dialogue you chose at this point,
I think it's lost in translation.
I guess, man.
Yeah, because I don't think that, translating into English, I think it came out wrong. But,
you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
But it just sounded cheesy.
It sounded bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
In the meantime, man, Michael's trying to get out of the sewer.
Yeah, he's still running. And oddly enough, he's like running in the same direction as where they're at, but underneath the ground.
Right. Yeah. Convenient how that seemed to work.
And it's kind of weird that some of those zombies are like far beyond the barrier. There's like some that were like in a like an abandoned gas station that was like maybe a few miles down the road.
Well, yeah, what was that? That's what I don't get. Like if they contain this thing, how did they get out?
Right. Exactly. It's like,
where did they come from? Like if this happened fast and let's say the military, police, whatever, caught on to this quickly, well, they would have surrounded it and anything that came out, they would have killed. So how did those other zombies get out?
The only thing I can think of is they didn't get there as quick as they could have. Or
did they escape through the sewer somehow before Michael got through there?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know, man. But remember that little thing he concocted? He concocted something earlier. I forget what he put together. Basically, it was kind of like a bomb, right? Of some sort where it would he hooked something to it. I can't remember what it was. It almost looked like one of those machines where you what are those things when you clear and you poof,
Oh yeah.
I think the defibrillator. He somehow took like part of that with something else and created some sort of something, a bomb that,
and
of
mix
course
the two liquids together, right?
And conveniently the zombie that it got attached to a little earlier in the movie happens to be where Michael is. He essentially hits this dead end, right? It's like he's got to like try to get out, but he can't. They're all kind of swarming, and he pushes the button and blows everything up. But he comes out of this thing just like covered in dirt. It looked like
covered in mud, but
right?
Where he's unrecognizable.
And this is what pissed me off, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, he didn't blow up.
Yeah,
but the zombies that were around probably blew up.
Within 6 inches of him.
Yeah.
Blew up. He didn't. Just has mud on him,
and he found a way out of the
sewer.
The sewer, and then he's got a zombie limp.
He's got a zombie limp.
He looks like a zombie, but you could tell that he's not zombified. In
the meantime, Allison has killed Daniel.
Yeah, she killed Daniel.
She stabs him, I think, in the back. Oh, then she like runs
over him.
This was cool. I mean, splits him in half. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was what it looked. I will tell you this. Before she hits him, I think for the second time, it looked kind of cheesy. You could tell like the effect where he's supposed to be like he's half of him is supposed to have been kind of sawed off. You could tell the way they did the effect. It looked kind of cheesy where you could tell like it's his real body kind of sticking out of a hole of the thing. Yeah. But she gets away and now she's driving off and she's racing off. She's racing off. Right. And she's going past all these different zombies. And then look, I mean, she's gone through hell. Right.
And then Michael's like walking across the bridge area, like a little, like I don't know, what would you call it?
Well, to me, it didn't look like a bridge. It just looked like a street that he came out from the sewer, found where the street was. Allison happens to be coming down the same street. And she's like, I'm going to take this fucking zombie out because all the hell that I've been going through. And it happens to be.
Yeah, she hits it and then he splats up against the windshield and she knows it's Michael.
Yeah. And then she loses control, hits the fucking tree.
And then her face is all dead and she got crunched.
She got all crunched.
So that our two main characters are dead.
They're dead, dude. Like,
I don't think the movie.
Yeah, I don't think anyone survives this thing. And then of course they do the whole, the whole ring's gonna somehow roll across the street, and it's like, really? Yeah, man. This was just like whatever for me.
I think it felt like a European movie that got a little lost in translation. They were trying to up the ante. They're probably looking at movies that did successful, like, Shaun of the Dead was a European movie.
Yep.
And then, it had some Peter Jackson elements to it. But all in all, it's just, I like zombie movies. I
do too. Yeah.
Yeah. This one just wasn't fun. It kind of reminded me of Rec 2 a little bit.
Of which one?
Rec 2. Rec.
Yeah.
The Spanish zombie movies.
Yeah.
Well, they're zombie slash.
It's short for record, right?
Record.
Yeah.
There's Rec 1, Rec 2 that happen in the same building. And then Rec 3 happens in a wedding at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this reminded me of Rec 3 a little bit. But a lot of people shit on Rec 3, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Did you?
This is one I was hoping to have more fun with, but
I was too. I was just disappointed. Like, I really was looking. I was actually looking forward to it after watching the trailer. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun. It's not gonna take itself too serious. I'm gonna have a good time with this. That's my mindset when I went into this.
Yeah.
And at first, it was totally that within like about 20 minutes, and then after 20 minutes, it went off the rails, and it couldn't make up its mind on what it wanted to do. And for me anymore, like, I've seen so many zombie movies and I'm tired. I'll be honest. I'm kind of tired of the zombie genre, the subgenre. So if I'm going to sit down and watch a zombie movie, you got to do something different for me.
Like Train to Busan.
Like Train to Busan, like One Cut of the Dead.
Yeah.
You just said you watched Army of the Dead last night. And I mean, you said you liked it, but it wasn't really anything different.
No, it wasn't anything groundbreaking or different. No.
Yeah. And see, that's what I want that. I know we're not going to get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was disappointing, and it's okay, man. And hey, not all these are going to be, winners, right?
Nope.
But I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I watched it. It wasn't like a complete waste of time. There was some good stuff that happened in the movie. It's just, I don't think I would recommend it to anyone.
No.
Like if you're a true like zombie fan and like that's your subgenre and you want to see every damn zombie movie, okay, then go check it out. But I don't think I would say, hey, dude, you got to go put Yummy on the top of your list.
Yeah, for me, this was like if I had to rate it out of 5, I would say it's like a 2.75 to 3.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd give it close to a 3?
Yeah, probably 2.75.
Really?
Out of 5.
Dude, if I was to have to put a number, this would be like a 2. This would be like a 2 for me, man.
No, I've seen shittier stuff.
I know you have. That's not what we're saying here. Of course, we both have seen shittier stuff.
I mean, let's just put it this way. I had 2.75 out of 5 fun with it. And that's where it kind of stays.
Yeah.
It's just
you are the thing is you are a little you're more tolerable than you can tolerate more stuff than I can, and you've seen far worse ones than I have, and I've seen some bad ones.
Yeah.
So I get the 2.75 or whatever. Yeah. 2 doesn't surprise you that I would say 2.
No.
That's kind of par for the course for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not like it's the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. There had some cool stuff happening. It's just as a whole, I wouldn't watch it again, and I don't think I'd recommend it to someone.
Yeah.
But anything else that we didn't like really hit on?
No.
I think we kind of went quickly through this one, but this one kind of warranted that, right?
I think it did. It just it's if you're a zombie completist and you don't want to watch shot on video bullshit, I say try it. But other than that, if you're not a zombie fan, definitely don't watch it. Yeah, I can't recommend it really.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of other cool zombie movies or, other country zombie movies. I would say definitely. Hell, if you haven't checked out One Cut of the Dead, don't read anything about it. We did a review on it a while back. Check that one out. That one is fun, and it's one of the better movies I've seen in years. Did you ever watch it?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did.
Yeah. I didn't want to give anything away on that one.
No.
So what I say is don't read anything on it. Just go into it blind, and you'll have so much fun with that one. But anyways, man, I guess I'll do it for us.
Yep.
Hey, everyone, thanks again for listening. Check us out, Morris. What is it? Morris Movie Man.
Monster Movie Man
13. You can check us out at all the main platforms, Ear for Fear podcast, all that good stuff. Thanks again for tuning in. Catch us next time, everyone. Stay safe. Take care. Thanks again for listening. Make sure you tell everyone about our Ear for Fear podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Ear for Fear. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There you can keep up to date on news, events, and episodes. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you come back and get an earful.